Once the program is going on, I would like you to drop your comment, like I said before, and then also you can. I will encourage you to share this program for someone, for your family, for your enemy, for your friend, for your loved ones, for them to also be blessed from this program and for them also to learn. So, Papa, continue from where you were before we had a technical problem.
Okay, as I was saying, when it comes to the issue of marriage, the first question you should ask yourself has to do with the religious background of the person. If you miss the religious background of the person, if you are a believer or you are a child of God, the religious questions are very important to you. In fact, it is in your own interest for you to ask those questions, because you are marrying somebody for purpose. You are marrying somebody that whatever you are going into, the foundation is the religion aspect, which is important. If you neglect that, it's to the detriment of your own marriage, because the religion aspect is what will be the basis for you to ascertain whether the person is a believer or he is not a believer. The next question you should ask the person, after you've asked them 5 or 6 or 7 religious questions, the next one is to ask questions about how you want to start a family. Because remember, we stated that marriage is for procreation. One of the essence of marriage is for procreation. And so, if one of the essence of marriage is for procreation, you need to find out from the person, does the person want to have children, or is the person in a position to be able to give you children? Because if you are going to get married and you are marrying somebody who is past 50 or 45, and you say that because you love the person so much and you are crazy about the person, and the person has passed menopause, and the person cannot give you children, or the person has done abortion during school time and cannot be able to give you children, then later you get married only to realize that the person is not in the capacity or in the position to be able to give you children, then you have yourself to blame, because in the first place, when you were getting married, you didn't ask questions whether the person would like to have children or not. And sometimes people get married, their children is a cat. The child that they have is a dog. I remember I stayed with a lady in France in my early days. That was about 10 years ago, in one of my travels. And she came home one day, and I think she had some fish in the aquarium, and she forgot to feed the fish before going to work. So she had to rush back to the house early to feed the fish. And when she was feeding the fish, she was crying. You know, asking the fish for forgiveness for not being able to, for forgetting to feed the fish before going to work. And I was thinking about using the fish for some KK, and she said, when I said it jokingly to her, she told me she would have committed suicide if she had come to the house and I had used the fish to prepare soup or something. And I asked her why. She said, well, the fish is her everything. In fact, even if she dies today, she's going to will her properties and everything to the fish. And we've had cases where people have given their properties to dogs, cats, their estate, their inheritance. And she told me that the fish has been with her in good times, in bad times. So you need to find out, it's not automatic that when you get married, the person would like to have children for you. So you need to find out whether the person is willing to have children for you or not. You don't make an assumption and think that the person is willing to have children for you. Somebody can get married to you and tell you that he doesn't want to lose his shape or anything. So you either go for a surrogate mother or something. There are people who do that. So you need to find out whether is the person willing or the person is in a position, if it's children that you want, you understand? Because you are going to the marriage for a purpose. So if you like children, you would love to have children, you should find out from your partner during the courtship whether if he or she also likes children and is willing to have children for you. Then the two of you also have to decide on how many children. And so you have to agree in the relationship before you even get married how many children you would like to have in the marriage. You don't make an assumption and think that because we can have children as many as we want. Somebody can tell you that I only want to have one child and may have a reason. Somebody will say I want to have 2 children, boy and a girl. That's all. I don't want any. Somebody wants to have 10. Somebody wants to have 20. And so if you don't discuss the number, some people like children and they were willing to have 9, 10. I know of a lady, she has 9 now because immediately the husband touches her, she gets pregnant. And she says she loves children. So you understand what I'm saying? So you should find out, you should discuss it during the courtship and the marriage, whether your partner loves children and how many children you want to have, whether you want to have 2 children, 1 children, all should be discussed. You understand? Not when after you are married, then now you are discussing how many children. No, you should discuss it so that once you hit the number that you had agreed on, the next one will be to maybe either the man does a vasectomy or the woman does some family planning, you understand, or something to prevent the children, because before you entered into the courtship or you entered into the marriage, you had already discussed how many children you want to have. Then you should also decide when you want to start actually having the children. There are some couples who can enter into marriage and can decide that we want to use 2 years of our life to enjoy ourselves before children start coming in. You understand? Mm-hmm. Some people go into marriage with the assumption that they have this assumption. They have this assumption that when it comes to marriage, once I'm in the relationship with the person and we are married, within 3 months when I get pregnant, after all, he's my husband. No. That's why some of the men, when they get married and they go into the marriage within 4 months, 5 months, then the woman is pregnant, he gets angry. You understand? Because you did not have the discussion, you didn't talk. So you must discuss, okay, when we go into the marriage, we would like to do natural family planning so that 2 years down the line, we can plan towards, because children is not just like children just come. Children is a big deal. When the child comes, the process, the baby, the psychological, emotional, everything. So the two of you have to prepare for a child coming. Not because, you see, the mistake some of our fathers did, it will be very foolish on our side to repeat the same mistake our fathers did by just going to marriage and you are just giving birth plate to plate. You see, when you fail to plan, you plan to fail in life. When you fail to plan your life, you plan to fail in life. And so you must plan that with your spouse, that, okay, we are getting married. We don't want to fornicate. That's why it's one of the reasons we are settling down. But in the next 2 years, we want to enjoy ourselves as young couples who have just gotten married. So let's put childbearing somewhere. We'll do family planning and wait. 2 years, would have gone to Paris, go here, read, then also save some money and prepare well for the coming of the children, so that when the children come, we don't go borrowing. When the children come, we are not cash strapped because a new child has come. You understand what I'm saying? Then it becomes an emotional, financial trauma. Then the little thing, the guy is getting angry because, you understand? And so it is important that you discuss all that. How long you want to wait till the children start coming. Then also you need to find out if there are histories of whether the women in the family, they are able to give birth naturally. Find out the women, are they able to give birth naturally? The woman you are marrying to, in her family background, in her family lineage, are they, the women in the, do they give birth normally, or they give birth through cesarean, so that you can also prepare towards that? You understand what I'm saying? Don't make an assumption. Now, you need to find out what is the values of the man. What are his values that is going to inculcate into the children? So you must discuss it. What are you guys planning to teach your children when the children come into the picture? Because if the person you are going to get married to has a low moral value, then it means that such a person, for instance, you are going to get married to somebody who doesn't see anything wrong with drinking alcohol. You are going to get married to somebody who doesn't see anything wrong with smoking. You are going to get married to somebody who doesn't see anything wrong with lying. Now, you should know that once children come in, children learn. That's why we call something the planting stage. So, if you are going to get married to such a person, it tells you that this is the kind of moral values the person is going to inculcate into your children. Will you want that for your children? You understand? So you have to ask all these questions. What is his moral values? What does he believe? You understand? I will tell you, my wife will tell you, I believe in hard work. So I tell her all the time that even if I have properties, I'm not going to say, my children, your father has their properties, so take. I tell my wife, we discuss it all the time. I say, no, you work for it. You understand? I give it to you, but you pay me rent. Because I want you to be responsible. Do you understand what I'm saying? And as you are paying me the rent, I'm using your rent to build a house for you. You will not stay in it for free because your father built a house for you. No. You understand? So what are some of the values this person is going to teach the child? You understand? It should be important to you because those children are your next generation. So what are the moral values that this man or woman is going to inculcate into the child? You should even go to the extent of deciding what kind of punishment that is appropriate in bringing up the children. I, for instance, came from a background where you have parents slap us. They will slap you, beat you, and the rest. I quite remember Ella did something, I had to beat her. Later, I had to apologize to her because in as much as I grew up from I corrected her and I told her, I don't like beating you because I don't want you to grow up thinking that it's normal for a man to beat a woman. I told her that, and she said, oh, Daddy, don't worry, I understand. I did something wrong. That's why you beat me. Now, one of the things we need to understand, you need to discuss how you want to punish your children. Do you want to beat them with cane? Do you want to give them other means of punishment? Or all these things, you're supposed to discuss it during the courtship. If you don't discuss them, and your husband slaps your children, because you didn't discuss it, that's how he was brought up. That's what he saw when he was growing up. And he saw it as normal. You understand what I'm saying? So all these things must, and you, maybe you the woman, you come from a very upgraded family background where even when you do something wrong, they have a way of punishing you, and so you have to discuss it and come to an understanding. Then also, you have to discuss if your partner have been in any previous relationship, the experiences they've gotten, and if there are wounds that needs to be healed. All this must be discussed before you go into the marriage. Then you have to find out from the man, how does he see your family? What is his impression about your family? You understand? both of you. All these questions are very important. Then, how often visit the family? I can leave that if mommy wants to continue. You understand? How often do you want to visit? Because some people, when you get married to them, all the time, today I'm going to visit my mommy, I'm going to visit my daddy, I'm going to visit my mommy. So you have to discuss all that. How often would you like to go and visit, either as an individual or you are visiting together? How do you expect to spend your holidays? Okay? All these things are important for you to discuss. How, when you grow old, how do you want to grow old together? How do you want to spend your time? You see, that's what I'm saying, that asking the relevant questions during the courtship is important. That is why we call it courtship. Don't ask stupid questions during the courtship. These are questions you must sit down with your fiancé or your beloved. When you meet and you are talking and you go for dinner, these are things you should be talking about.
Not sex.
No, not sex. You see, not talking about sex. Sit down and talk about how you want to plan your future. You get what I'm saying? Because if you don't talk about all these things and you just assume it, you will be making the biggest mistake. So that has to do with the family. Okay, I don't know if mommy.
Yeah, and you also want to find out if your partner gets angry, how that person behaves. Sometimes you have to test the guy or the lady, how he behaves when he gets angry also. Okay, and also you have to really find out if the man you are going to get married to or the lady you are going to marry to can really help you. You know, not just looking at your beauty, like how Papa said, your beauty and your shape, and want to get married to, like how you guys want your marriage to be, you know, how you want your home to be. So all these things have to be discussed before you enter into it, and how many children you want, like how Papa said. I think.
Thank you. Papa, questions about intimacy.
Yeah. When it comes to intimacy, it's also important because you must know what are both of your expectations regarding sex. There are some partners who don't like sex. Okay, there are some partners who may not like sex. There are some partners who may have had experience. They have been in the world. They've dated like 10 men, 10 women. So they have experience. Then another partner you are getting married may not have the experience you have. So you need to discuss, each of you, your expectation regarding sex. How often do you want to have sex? Are you a free sex person all the time? You want to be having sex? You understand? Or else, if you don't discuss it, and your partner assumes that, oh, because you are getting married, you're going to be having sex morning after evening, and you marry the person. We've had cases like that where somebody will come at me and say the guy likes sex too much. You understand? So you should discuss about sex. So, by the way the guy is talking, you can tell he likes sex too much. So if you know you are not ready for that, you often tell me I don't like sex. So I want a man who is very busy once in a while. We do it, but not a man morning, afternoon, evening. No. You don't go into the marriage, then later you are running and say the man loves sex. You rather push him out. Do you understand? So you should discuss your expectation regarding sex in the marriage. It is very important. You are supposed to discuss it. Don't make any. That's why we are saying that all these things we are talking about, you should discuss it during the courtship. Discuss it during the courtship. Don't wait until when you get married before you are discussing. Discuss it during the courtship, when you are courting. That's the time you should discuss it. Okay? Then, for instance, when you're talking about sex, one of the questions you ask is that, what is the person's expectation regarding sex? How open are you to tell me if you are not satisfied sexually? You understand? Then, if the person has been raped before, because if the person has been raped before, the person doesn't tell you, All the time you are going to the person as if you are going to fight. And you don't understand why the lady is pushing you even though you are married. So you should discuss it. Let the person be open to tell you, I've been raped before. I've been taken advantage of. You understand? And so psychologically, if you can help the person, with your love, small till the person gets there. You understand? So if you don't share those experiences with the person will be coming to the wife, then the wife is quarreling, or sometimes they may fight and the man may think that the woman doesn't love him, but it is because of her experience that she has been through, because she has been raped before. So that is why you have to discuss all these things. What do you enjoy most about sex? Do you consume pornography? Because if your partner is addicted to pornography, Mommy and I, we are talking, if the person is addicted to pornography, he might never enjoy the sex that you give him, no matter how good you give him a sex. So if the person has that challenge, it should be discussed during the courtship so that the person can seek counseling and help before you get married to the person. Or else, if the person eventually gets married to you and the person has issues with pornography, no matter whatever you do, the person may not enjoy the sex. And the person will keep saying that you are not good enough to satisfy him or her. So you must find out whether the person has challenges with that also. Then what turns on the person? What turns it on? Because in the courtship you should discuss it. What turns the man on? What turns the woman on? You understand? You don't, like for instance, most women are turned by the way you talk to them, the way you show them care, and the rest. Some too may not be that. It may be different thing that turns them on. So you understand what I'm saying? So you should know what turns your partner on. Then, what have you ever doubted about your sexuality and all these questions? Do you think that you are physically affectionate enough? Do you think you can trust me enough to discuss our sexual differences? Is there anything that is off limit sexually? Is there anything that we are doing that is in the marriage it will be off limit when it comes to sex? Because there are couples who do threesome. I'm telling you, you'll be shocked. There are couples. We watch it in the movie, people think that it's not real, but there are couples who can bring 2-3 women to do threesome because that is what the man likes. That's what the woman likes. You understand what I'm saying? So if you don't ask all these questions, you will realize that you are married to a lunatic whose preferences for sex is so you must ask all these questions. Do you agree to bring up any attraction or you are feeling outside the relationship? So for instance, in the courtship, if somebody is chasing your wife, she should feel free to tell you that, oh, somebody is making advances at me. Mommy will tell me when people make advances, I tell her, we laugh over it sometimes. You understand? I say, hey, this lady, the way she's behaving, she likes me. You understand what I'm saying? So you should be able to discuss. You understand what I'm saying? That, oh, this person, mommy should be able to tell me, oh, this guy is hitting on me. You understand? All these things must be discussed during the courtship, that we can feel free to discuss all these things and the person will not take offense to that. And so, when it comes to sexual intimacy, these are the real questions you must ask. Don't go into the marriage and only to realize that the person you married is actually a man. The person, some men marry and they go into the marriage and realize that the woman is actually a man. And some women too marry and they go into the marriage only to realize that the man is actually a woman. So you must discuss all these sexual preferences. You understand? And I'm not saying go and have sex with the person before marriage, but discuss them before you go into the marriage. That's why we have courtship. Discuss it. I don't know whether mommy would like to. Yeah.
Papa said.
Thank you, Papa. Papa, what is about dealing with conflict?
Yeah, the conflict aspect is what mommy spoke about. You should be able to find out what are the things that will make the two of you fight all the time. You understand?
Yeah.
So that you can avoid it. If your partner doesn't like some things, don't do it. Are you getting what I'm saying? So that is so in the courtship you should find out from your partner, what is it that you don't like? What are the avoidables? What are the things that I can avoid? You understand? So I don't do things mommy don't like because I know she doesn't like this. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you must discuss it. She doesn't do things I don't like because we've discussed it in the courtship that these are the things I don't like. So she avoids it. Then what are the things that your partner can accommodate? What are the things she can accommodate? What are the things he can accommodate? You understand what I'm saying? What are the things that she can compromise? She can overlook. What are the things the man too can what? Overlook. Then how did your family deal with conflict growing up? You should discuss it. In some families, mommy, when we sometimes talk, she will tell me she never even saw her mother and father having conflict, even though she knew as she was growing up, she knew sometimes they had their own misunderstanding, but they will always discuss it in their room. I grew up in a background where I saw my father and mother fighting, not my real mom, but I'm talking about my stepmom, fighting all the time for more than 5 years. You understand what I'm saying? One day mommy was teasing me and said, that's why I saw all these things. I've never threw my hand at a woman before. You understand? Because when I was growing up, I took a decision that even though I grew up from such a background, in my background, women don't talk. You don't talk when a man is talking. You understand? Well, you receive a slap. Do you understand what I'm saying? But when I was growing up, maybe with education and exposure, seeing people I call friends who are white, who have been around me and all that, changed my perception. You understand? So if you don't know the upbringing of the man, you understand? He may treat you in a way you will not understand why he's treating you that way. Maybe that is why in the first part of the questions about family, when you visit the man's family, see how the mother and the father relate. It's also a key point you can. That is how your marriage will be. I'm telling you. If you visit the woman, see how the mother relates. The mother is her also. See how the mother relates with the father. Then you can tell how she will treat you. Do you understand what I say? The same way, when you go to the man's house, see how the father treats the mother. Then you can tell how the man will treat you. So all these things are questions you must ask because people, mommy said it in the beginning, we all come from different backgrounds. And because we come from different backgrounds, our upbringings are different. And because our upbringings are different, the way you may handle a conflict will be different from the way I will handle a conflict. Do you understand what I'm saying? So therefore, all these things you must discuss it during the courtship. Then how do you express anger? In the background I come from, we express anger as immediate. You deal with the issue there and there. You don't pretend and hide it. The person does something you don't like, you tell it as it is, you take your mind off it. Another person is coming from a background where anger, he keeps it within. You understand? So the two of you must sit down and discuss how the two of you are going to handle anger. So in the courtship, you can decide, okay, when any of us are angry, let us not talk to each other till we are all okay before we talk to each other. You understand? So all this anger management thing should be discussed during the courtship. Don't wait until when you go into the courtship and the man is beating you and slapping you before you start talking about how to manage your anger. Because anger is different. Everybody gets angry, but the way everybody manages his anger is also depending on the background and how he saw his parents married and all that. So you need to understand. Some people can express anger by not eating. Some people can express anger by not talking to you. You understand? Then, how comfortable are you with having arguments? So people, the background they come from, they don't like argument. They don't like it when you disagree with them. So all these things you have to talk about it in the courtship. How does your man handle disagreement when you disagree with him? How does your, because there are some men who, when they say something, they want it final. There are men like that. There are some women too, when they say something, they want it final. And so, in the courtship, you have to discuss it and see how you can circumvent. Because even though the man may be like that, there's a way you can talk to him that will be appealing for him or her, for the two of you to come to a mutual agreement. So all these things, you need to talk about it, you need to discuss it. It is very important. Then how do you think of perpetual conflict? Conflicts that persist in the family. How, like, there are some conflicts that they don't go. Okay? It's part of every family. So when those conflicts persist, how do you intend to solve it? Your lifestyle differences, your personality different, because we have different personalities. You understand what I'm saying? And so how do you deal with it? Then, because you are courting, you should know what aspect of your partner that is so annoying. Like I'm sitting here, I've been married to my wife for more than 12 years. I can tell you things that are so annoying about her. She can tell me things that are so annoying about me. You understand what I'm saying? So how do you deal with things that are annoying about your partner? You see, all these things you have to talk about it. What would be an example? How do you intend to resolve conflict in the marriage, in the relationship or marriage when you eventually get married? How do you intend to resolve those conflicts? All these things comes about when we are talking about conflict management in the courtship. You should discuss it. You should discuss it, mommy.
Yeah, like I said, Papa has said everything. Before you go into marriage or anything, you have to make sure that you discuss things that will help the two of you. Okay? Like how Papa said, sex and how you, and especially, and how when money comes in also, how you guys are going to manage it, spend it, you know. There are things that you have to discuss.
Papa, questions about relationship and commitment.
Commitment is also important in terms of every relationship. You are going to every relationship, you have to ask questions about commitment. Now, is the man or woman you are getting married, is the person committed to the relationship? Is the person committed to the, because if the person is not even committed in the relationship, when you eventually get married to the person will not be committed. Do you understand that? So is the person committed? Because if in the relationship you keep calling the person and the person doesn't pick your call, the person picks your call at a later time and tells you, oh, I'm busy, oh, and the rest, he's not committed to the relationship. So when he gets married to you, what shows that he's going to be connected and committed to the relationship? You understand what I'm saying? So you need to discuss issues of commitment. Then, how can you make a conscious decision to tell each other if you feel that you are being taken for granted? Sometimes couples or in a relationship, couples can, after getting married for a while, they can begin to take themselves for granted. Like take your partner for granted because you think, oh, we have been married for years, so she's not going anywhere. Or we have been married for years, so he's not going anywhere. And so we have that tendency where you can begin to take your partner for granted. And so you need to discuss at what point that you can open up to your partner and tell your partner that I think you are taking me for granted. You understand what I'm saying? Then what does commitment mean to your partner? You should discuss it. What is the definition of commitment? How does your partner defines commitment? And how do you yourself also define commitment? Then, in terms of commitment also, you should discuss how you want your man to express love to you or commitment to you. Maybe some women, they like just a peg or a kiss or sweet cards or love words. The man wants to be pampered. So all these things, only what do you like when I do? It shows that I'm committed to you, I love you, so that you don't feel rejected, you don't feel that I don't love you. You understand? You should discuss it during the courtship, so that your partner will know that, oh, if I do these things for my wife, if I do these things for my partner, she sees them as that I'm committed to her. You understand me? Now, you should be able to also discuss things that you appreciate about your partner. You understand? Why do you want to get married to me? What is about me that you appreciate? Why you want to get married to me? It's important. You must discuss it. Then, the things that, 3 things that you admire about the person. The things that you admire, because every relationship will be hit hard with challenges. But what will keep making the relationship to forge ahead are these commitment things. What are the things that attracted you to her in the first place? What are the things that attracted you to him in the first place? All these things. Then you need to also talk about the issue of infidelity. What are your boundaries so far as infidelity is concerned? Does it mean that if somebody kisses my cheek, is it infidelity? If I delete somebody's telephone number without letting my husband or my wife know, does it constitute infidelity? You have to discuss it. Don't assume that once the person doesn't have sex with you, it means infidelity. No. You should discuss it during the question that, for me, for my background, even if you don't tell me that this person hit on you or this person is, I see it as infidelity. You understand what I'm saying? So all these things must be discussed. Then what do you love about me that you don't want me to change? Or maybe I love the way you wear your Brazilian hair, so I don't want you to change. I like the way you are fair colored, so always make sure you're fair colored. I love the way you walk. I love your big butt. I love the way you speak English. I love your charisma. So you discuss it. So when the person enters the marriage, he knows that these are the things my wife likes about. He doesn't like pork belly. So you go to gym. He doesn't like women with this thing. So because you discussed it during your courtship, that these were the features he saw that attracted him to you. So you make sure that you keep up. You understand? Because these were the things that made him to come to you. So if you were slim before he met you, make sure at least you not get 100% back, but try to do something. You understand what I'm saying? Then also, what kind of partner do you aspire to be? What kind of partner do you aspire to be? The person should not get married to you and after 10 years you are still the same. 20 years you are still the same. What kind of partner do you want to be in future? Sometimes in the relationship, some partners may want time alone. My wife will tell you, sometimes I can be alone because maybe I want to wait on the Lord, I want to hear from God and the rest. Now, if your partner doesn't understand all these things, she will say, I'm being rejected. The man doesn't love me. No, you should discuss it. Tell your partner that at certain times I like to be alone. It doesn't mean that I don't love you, but I just want to be alone. You understand? So all these things must be discussed. How, in terms of family meetings, how regular would you like to have fellowship together as a couple, to go to church together, sit down and talk, watch a movie, watch TV together? How often would you like that? Go to a cinema together, you understand? You should discuss all these. Then, in terms of support in hard times, is your partner willing to support you in illness, in death, when you are unemployed? I know of a singer who the wife, I don't want to mention his name, the wife left him because he became unemployed. He lost his status for being famous. He lost everything. The wife left him. The wife said, I married you because you had money. The wife told him. You understand? So is my partner willing to support me even in illness, even in death, or even when I am unemployed? You should ask all these questions during the courtship. Then, if you don't mind, I can continue because of time. For the finances. Yeah. You see, for the finances, Mommy, if you can come in, then I'll conclude on that. Okay. The finances.
Like how the two of you want to like you manage your
Questions about finances and
finances,
money.
yeah, how you guys will manage it, how you want the money to be spent, and
You should tell your partner how much you earn. You should tell your partner, I earn this salary, your income, this is how much I earn. The woman should be able to tell the husband, this is how much I earn. The man should be not, yeah, some women or men will open a separate account, secret account somewhere, putting money here and there, and you understand, they call it domicile account. All this is wrong. They are all part of the secret I'm talking about. There should not be secret in the marriage. There should not be secret. So, tell your partner how much you earn. It's very important. Tell your partner how much. Then, in terms of debt, maybe when you're getting married, the two of you can decide that when it comes to credit card, you don't want to have anything to do with credit card. You should discuss it in the relationship. Maybe your husband may say, okay, I believe in credit card. The woman may say, I don't believe in credit card. You should discuss and come to a consensus before you go into the marriage. Oh, we want to take mortgage for the building. Should we go, when we would like to take a mortgage? All these things, you have to discuss it. Then how comfortable are the two of you when you want to borrow, whether the woman or the man? Maybe the man is not comfortable with borrowing. The woman may not be comfortable with borrowing. So how, as a partner, how can I help my partner from not borrowing? Or how can I help my partner from not borrowing? You understand? Then family attitude towards money. How do the two of you handle money when money comes into your hand? It's very important. Are you a saver or a spender? Definitely you have, maybe the woman is a spender, or the man is a spender, the woman is a spender, the man is a saver, the woman is a saver. So you should discuss it and know each other, your strength and your weakness. Okay? Then your priority. What are your priorities? Do you want to save together? Or you want to have separate accounts when you get married? Do you want to have a joint account when you get married? Or you want to have a separate account when you get married? All these things you should discuss it. Then, when you have the joint account, do I need permission from my wife before I take money from the account? Or does my wife need my permission? Or she can just go into the account and withdraw money? Or the man can just go straight and withdraw money? All these things must be. Then how do we spend? Do we buy foodstuffs monthly and we stock the house? Or we buy in bits and pieces? Or you should discuss during the courtship how you want to spend money in terms of giving foodstuffs, the baby dress, baby children dress. How do you want to do shopping? Is the shopping going to be done yearly or quarterly or monthly? All this must be discussed. Then in terms of budget, how much do you give your wife as upkeep? You understand? In terms of electricity bill, water bill, and all these things must be discussed. You understand what I'm saying? It must be discussed. The children's school fees, all these things must be discussed. If your partner was once married before, you understand? If he has children in the previous marriage, all these obligations, maybe the man had children, he has obligations before he married you, all must be discussed. You understand what I'm saying? Then also, if your partner owns any property or has a car, a house, before getting married to you, you must discuss it. The woman maybe is coming, she has her own house, a car. You have to discuss it. Is it for all of us? Is it for the family? Or that is a different ballgame? You don't make assumptions. You have to ask all these questions. How do you pay your rent? How do you plan to pay your rent? Do you plan in a way that you think the woman should support you, or that you pay on your own? All these things, you should discuss it. Then the location of where you will stay. Maybe where you are going to rent the house is very far. The woman wants town. The man wants town. But the woman, we had a case, our landlord, for instance, the woman built the house, the man said, I'm not staying in a woman's house. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to discuss all these things. It's very important.
Papa said it all. Papa, questions about communication.
Okay, let me round up on the communication. In terms of communication, how comfortable are you to share your feelings with your partner? Some people, they don't like to share their feelings with their partner, okay? Especially if they are negative. How do you feel when you disagree with your partner? Will you tell your partner a lie just to avoid hurting him or his feelings? Is there something that when you say gets your partner angry, you should discuss it? You understand? Do you think that your partner nags too much? Maybe she likes to nag too much. You should discuss it. If you come from a background where you've gone through a lot of disappointment, a lot of pain, you should discuss it with your partner so that when you are depressed or you are going through some emotional challenges, your partner can identify with you that it's because of your previous pain and disappointment. That's why maybe you don't trust easily and all that. You should discuss it. Is there anything about your partner that attracts you or annoys you? You should also discuss it. Then, when it comes to work and career, the work and career of your partner must be important to you. In the sense that, look at the kind of work I do. If mommy, for instance, if you're a diplomat or something, and your wife is also working back home as a banker, how can she follow you? She can't leave her career and follow you. And so you have to discuss all these things. Maybe you like traveling, your partner doesn't like traveling, and you get married, definitely it will not work. You understand? So you should discuss your work, your career, the kind of dream job you want to, whether one of you have to quit your job just to make each other happy. All should be discussed. Your career goals, your career aspirations, all these things must be discussed. It's very important. I don't think we can exhaust all the handle. We've done more than 80 though. Yeah.
Thank you, Mommy. Thank you, Papa. Viewers, we're going for a short commercial break. You can start dropping your comments. Once we come back, we'll answer all the questions for you.
It has affected the viewership.
Off and on.
Because they can't find which one is live right now.
Yeah, like about 4 million.
It's 4.
Pastor. Good morning, Sister Lydia.
Good morning, sir.
How are you?
Fine, sir. I'm fine. I'm very sorry, sir. I was talking hurriedly with you when we were on phone. I was with my agents, my travel agents.
What? To do what?
What did I tell you I was going to do after dropping the children in the school this morning?
But didn't I tell you to be patient until we seek counsel on this matter?
When we clear the ground and then breathe in fresh air, then we take counsel. Not when my entire life is being destroyed by incantation and spell. Look here, there. Your sentiment is giving too much room for the devil in this house, and I won't take it.
And what have you gone to do with your traveling agent?
Fortunately, Pastor, I was able to pay an extra cost for his return ticket. So the flight is 3 o'clock and it leaves by 12 for the airport.
Mommy Boyega, don't you think that you are taking a rash decision on this matter?
Pastor, I told her. I pleaded with her. The old man came here less than a week ago. Less than 1 week. And we are pushing him back home again.
We have to stand down on this matter.
I've told him to respect his marriage vow, Pastor. It is me and my children first. It is us first before anything. It is our interest first. That is the resolution.
Actually, I had intention of coming here this morning before I received call from your husband. Why such sudden decision to send Baba back home? What happened?
Pastor, less than 1 week. My house is almost turned upside down by Baba's terrible incantation and spell on me and my children. What happened overnight was the most terrible incident, Pastor.
What happened overnight?
I had a terrible dream, Pastor. Terrible dream. I woke up, I couldn't remember the dream. But the most terrible thing was when I felt somebody about to choke life out of me.
Pastor, I was even telling her to see the reason why we should be patient on this matter.
Pastor, the actual thing that brought about all this decision was when I now decided to pray. I mean, just to pray over all this nonsense we have been experiencing in this house. I've not prayed up to 5 minutes, Pastor, when we had a very terrible scream from Baba's room, Pastor. He now went there to see what was going on, and he met his father reciting incantations and performing some rituals.
Really?
Yes.
Ritual?
That was not his first time, and that was not the second.
And what did he say?
He lied again, Pastor. He said he was fighting with some people, some opposing and royal family in their village. And I said, okay, I think I've had enough. He needs to go back and do the fighting.
What shall we do now?
Nothing, Pastor. We can do nothing. The man is living today. I've had enough. We love him. We send money to him from time to time. But how can darkness and light coexist? It's not possible.
Pastor, I'm very uncomfortable treating my father this way. I got him a 2-year visa to come to the US. I bought him a ticket, and schedule is going back after 4 months. This old man celebrated his coming to the foreign land with his friends and relatives, and you know about it. Sending him back to Nigeria after spending 1 week in this state, is that not disgraceful? Is that not shameful enough? Lady, my father is going nowhere.
Why do you love your parents more than your children and wife? Eh?
Listen to me. If you are to be your father and your mother, can you send them back? Can you send them into disgrace and dishonor them? Can you send them back home the way you want to do to my father?
My father can never do that. My father can never do that because he is not an idolater.
Last year, your mom spent 2 months with us. I took her to the mall.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for staying tuned with us. Welcome back again. And so far, we've not had any questions from you guys. So that means everything has been sinking. You're okay with everything. I have one question from one person who was asking Papa, is it okay for couple to open one account together?
Yeah.
Like separate account?
You can have a separate account, but as I'm saying, it should be something you have discussed in the courtship.
Okay.
Because as Mommy said, you are coming from different background. So in your background, you saw your mother and father opening separate accounts. Your wife saw the father and mother opening same account. So you should discuss it in the courtship and decide that when you get married, you want to have a separate account, or you get married, you want to have a joint account. And when you even have the joint account, what will be the conditions? My spouse need permission to go into the joint account, or does it need permission to go into the joint account? Do you understand what I'm saying? Because some joint account, even though we are joint account, you cannot take money without the man. You can't take money without the woman. So what are the conditions? And some joint accounts, the woman can go straight to the account. What are the limits? All these things should not be discussed in the marriage. It should be discussed in the courtship for the two of you to come to an agreement before you go into the marriage.
I believe that one, before you get married, you have already discussed whatever you want to discuss.
Yes.
It depends on the two of you whether you want to join account or separate account. That one depends on the two of you.
Thank you. Papa and Mama, your last words and your advice for the viewers out there before we run up and close the program for the day.
Okay, mine to the ladies out there. Yeah, before you go into any relationship, you have to do your background check very well, and also make sure that you are going for a mature man, not a baby man, no, a mature man. And also make sure that the man you are going into is very spiritual. She respects authority. You know, if you can able to find out and pray before going in, it will help you. So as a lady watching me, marriage is not easy. So make sure you marry a spirit-filled man. You know, as Papa said, God-fearing person. You know, someone who will love you for who you are. Okay? Someone who will love you for who you are. So that's what I can.
Happy your last word?
Yeah, I think Mommy has said it all. It's important that you ask questions. If you fail to ask questions, the questions will ask you when you eventually get married.
Right.
So instead of sitting down with your partner and talking about irrelevant things, things that will not help in the marriage when you eventually get married, you must ask hard questions, because marriage is about purpose, it's about destiny. And so when you are getting married, you must ask questions. Very important. Yeah.
Thank you, viewers. Thank you, my lovely viewers. Thank you, thank you. I want to thank you for your time. And I've learned a lot from today's program. 100 questions that you should think about asking, or you need to ask before you get married. So we will wrap up for today until we come your way again next week. We'll say a word of prayer from our Papa before we wrap up.
Okay, can we pray? Mommy, let's pray for. We want to pray for all singles who are trusting God to get married. Father, we pray for them in the name of Jesus. We pray that the power of the Spirit of the Lord will touch them. Lord, visit every foundation. Help them to make the right choices. Oh, Father, we pray any relationship, any marriage on the verge of collapse, we pray that may mercy touch that marriage in the name of Jesus. Give them wisdom to make the right choices, to ask the right questions, oh God. In the name of Jesus, let your will and purpose concerning every marriage be established, oh God, that at the end, Lord, we'll be careful to thank you. In Jesus' name, we call it done. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, viewers. So we come your way again next week. It's a live family series, and today we spoke about 100 questions that you need to ask before you get married. So we come your way again next week. Stay blessed and stay safe. Ciao. Shalom.